Hello and welcome to The Chaos of Scale, the podcast dedicated to helping scaling businesses navigate the human side of growth. I'm your host, Andy Golding, and today we're diving into our third guiding principle, lean on kindness. We've already covered our first two guiding principles, pause for quality and beware the curse of knowledge, in our previous episodes. And in our next episode, we'll cover the fourth and final guiding principle of own your human. In today's episode, we will explore how lean on kindness impacts organizations, teams, and people during periods of rapid growth. And I'll share some practical strategies that you can implement to help you lean on kindness to get more done more quickly and at a higher quality. As always, I promise to leave you with at least one thing to think differently about how you work with others and at least one actionable step to help you show up as a rad or even more rad human at work. You know the drill. If you find value in today's episode, please like, subscribe, share, and for some extra kudos and gratitude, please leave a review. Lean on kindness. This is a very interesting and very personal guiding principle for me because, on one hand, I feel like it should just kind of be obvious. Like, we should all aim to walk through the world leaning on kindness and showing up kindly towards one another. But on the other hand, leaning on kindness is not my default setting. There was a time when I didn't lean on kindness in my personal life or in business. But I've come to see it as so valuable. I've come to really understand and feel the impact of it. So it has become my default. And in the world of business, it's so easy to fall back on it's a jungle out there and it's a dog eat dog world. And my first experience of work was exactly that. I joined the working world and my first job sucked. It was awful. There was absolutely no kindness there. But over time, I started to understand and see and experience the value of kindness first and kindness as the baseline. Once I started to kind of feel the impact and understand the value of kindness, I started to let kindness be the tone setter. And I know it is a key player in how my teams have been so successful to date. I definitely don't get it right all of the time, and neither will you. I'm far too fallibly human for that, and so are you, and that's okay. But you can think of leaning on kindness as creating a circular economy of goodwill, effort, and commitment in your teams, in your organizations, and in your relationships. It's kind of like a secret sauce for playing the medium and long game for success as well. Let's say one of my team members expresses that she's had an awful night. She's barely slept. She's not feeling great. I have two options. Option one, shame, sorry, good luck getting through today. And option two, oof, that's really rough. What are the main things that you need to get done today? And can you shift anything that's not urgent off of your plate to give yourself some space to take it a bit easier, take it slowly, and maybe even close up your laptop a bit early? And is there anything that I can help with? Option one gives nothing other than surface level acknowledgement that they actually said something. And option two says, I hear you. I hear that you're saying that you have limited capacity to give today. So I'm listening and paying attention. How can I help you feel comfortable to go easier today and give yourself permission to slow down? Option two shows care and compassion, and it makes investments in goodwill that will pay powerful dividends. Scale up environments are chaotic, they're frenetic, the pressure can be relentless and exhausting, and creating these kind spaces to just back off a little, peel off the gas. Those kind spaces give people permission to pause, to breathe, to slow down. It gives them permission to be human. You're also very likely to have a lot of juniors in the team or organization, or a lot of people who are doing this for the first time, aka they have no idea what they're doing, but they're deeply skilled and incredibly smart people. So they're figuring it out and learning on the job every single day. And it is likely that in many cases, no one else in the company has done this before, because you're scaling and the business is in that weird phase of growing all these new kind of fingers and tentacles and formalizing processes and putting in new procedures and tools in place. And I know this because I've been there. I've been the person doing this for the first time. I've been the junior. And those safe and kind spaces make so much difference in terms of sustainability and how you can just show up consistently and work inside of that relentless pressure. Leaning on kindness makes it safe to firstly be human, which we'll talk about in episode 4, because our fourth guiding principle is own your human. But lean on kindness, and I kind of hinted at this earlier, it plays the mid to long game as well. You have to think of scaling as a marathon and not a sprint. So when a team member says, I'm not feeling well, I'm overwhelmed, I'm exhausted, and you lean in and take notice and make it okay for them to slow down or back off or stop entirely, even on some days, you give them permission to go rest and recover and come back stronger for the long haul. It's an island of time lost now for a river of productivity gained later. And if you just thought to yourself, I can't be soft on them, I can't let them know that they can take it easy because they'll take advantage and slack off all the time, what if it was you? What if it was you who was feeling under your A game and your leader gave you permission to slow down and just peel off the gas a bit? How would you respond? Would slacking off become your new normal, and would you just never put in effort again? Or would you take the break and then come back re-energized and smash it? If you said, oh, I would take the breather now and come back later and smash it, welcome to the club. The vast majority of us will. The vast majority of us are not inherently lazy and unwilling to contribute. Most of us want to feel valued and valuable in life and in work. So we want to show up and contribute. Leaning on kindness creates the space for people to do this consistently and over the long term. They bring high energy and high contribution. But when people are just exhausted and kind of plodding through, you have low energy and minimized contribution. So pause for that recovery and then come back for that heightened contribution again. And yeah, for the one or two people who are not going to show up and who are always going to be slackers and who are going to take full advantage of being allowed to slack off, you made a mistake by hiring them in the first place. Maybe they're in the wrong position, maybe they don't belong in your organization, but don't make rules and don't build your culture for the 3% of people. Determine how you show up and build your culture for the 97% of people who want to feel valued and valuable. When someone makes a mistake in your team, which will absolutely happen, do you lean into annoyance and rage, or do you lean on kindness? And now, leaning into rage and annoyance is my default, but I acknowledge that that's a me thing. It's not my team's problem, because there is no long-term gain for me showing up in rage and annoyance for my team. There is only long-term loss. If somebody makes a mistake, and mistakes happen, especially when you have a very big mix of juniors and highly skilled specialists in a team that's doing new things and building all these new fingers and tentacles. If I show up with rage and annoyance, suddenly it's no longer safe to try new things or to act independently. And in teams where the lead leans into this annoyance and rage, the safety to act independently disappears, When that happens, they constantly start to defer to the manager or the team lead. And this means that innovation is gone, free thinking is non existent, sorry, goodbye. And it ties the manager or the team lead up in so much minutia that they can't get anything strategic done. And suddenly we're trying to sprint through mud to get anything over the line. We're constantly in reactive mode. There's no proactivity because there's no space for it, because people don't feel safe to act independently and try things. But when we lean into kindness, when someone makes a mistake or things go wrong, and you make it something to learn from and do better next time, you open up so much possibility and you keep that space safe. Leaning into kindness doesn't mean that you don't learn lessons along the way and that you don't reap consequences from your mistakes. It means that you do this with people. You play the ball, not the man, to say it a different way. You work with your team through what went wrong. You make it okay to make mistakes again because you walk with them through that. You help them get better from it. You help them learn from it so that next time they don't need you to hold their hand through it. They will still act independently. When someone makes a mistake, I want to point fingers and blame, but I also know that there's no long term gain from that. That's playing the short game. So when someone that I'm working with makes a mistake or does something wildly annoying, I pause for quality and refocus on the bigger picture. Take a breath and come at it from kindness. So I give myself that permission to pause, reframe, and then act. What went wrong? Why did it go wrong? How do we damage control? Do we even need to damage control? And where do we go from here? Because one thing that I've learned is very little other than the actual end of the world is the end of the world. I'm human, they're human, you're human, the customers who we're serving are human, and that kind of helps to bring everything down in terms of levels of intensity and just refocus the seriousness of things going wrong. Everything is figure outable, if I can quote my former business partner, Brad Shawkind. And anybody who I work with knows that I always say everything is figure outable because it is. And it doesn't have to be figured out from a place of fear. It can be done from a place of trust and learning and safety. When we lean on kindness in our interactions and communications with people, we create teams where people have each other's backs. And I don't know about you, but when I feel like the people that I work with have my back, I am capable of infinitely more than when I feel like I need to watch my back. Kindness sets the tone for how we show up. It allows you to set high expectations and it creates the context for people to thrive in whilst aiming high, working tough, and working through the chaos of life in a scale up. It's really that simple. Lean on kindness, even when you don't want to, even when rage and annoyance are at the wheel. Kindness sets the tone, even when things are tense and deadlines are tight. Kindness creates safety. Safety holds space for amazing work and hard conversations. Kindness creates longevity and resilience. It plays the medium and long game. Everyone is grateful for kindness and everyone benefits from it. And kindness does not mean holding back from the hard stuff or the tough feedback. Rather, it weaves a foundation for great connection, honest conversations, deep communication, and amazing achievements. Even when it is the last thing that you want to do, lean on kindness as a first principle in how you choose to show up. Your action item from today's episode is first to simply observe yourself. What is your default? Is your default to lean on kindness, or is your default to lean into rage and frustration? And it's fine if that's your default. If it is, acknowledge it, and then allow yourself to take a breath, pause, and reframe before responding. Transition to leaning on kindness and respond from there. I promise you that the results will be worth it. Lean on kindness, even when you don't want to, even when rage and annoyance are at the wheel. It really sets the tone. Thank you for joining us. If you found value in today's episode, please share it with a colleague who might be experiencing similar challenges. And please don't forget to like, subscribe, and review wherever you get your podcasts. I'm Andy Golding from the Chaos of Scale. Remember, business growth is messy, but the human side doesn't have to be. Until next time.